Esther promised she would try.
I'll try.
Mordecai went back to his home in the village, and Esther fasted and prayed for 3 days to work up the courage to go and see the king, even though she thought it would mean her death. Finally, she felt ready. She went to see the king. She called out to the king.
King!
Of course, the king was angry and yelled, "Who dares bother the king without being invited?"
Who dares bother the king without getting invited?
And he even said, "Who will be put to death?"
Who will be put to death?
Esther explained, "It's only me, Esther."
It's only me, Esther.
The king looked at Esther and said, "I will spare you."
I'll spare you.
And then he said, "I'll give you anything you want."
I'll give you anything you want.
Esther was so relieved. She told the king her idea. She said, "Please come to my chambers tomorrow for a party."
Please come to my chambers tomorrow for a party. Yay!
And then she added, "And please bring Haman."
And please bring Haman. Yay!
Of course they were happy to come. Esther went back to her part of the castle and started making the delicious food for the party. She was mixing a special batter to make the most delicious cookies. That night, everyone was asleep at the castle. The king was having a very tough time sleeping. Finally, he gave up and said, "I can't sleep."
I can't sleep.
So he called for his messengers.
Messengers! Yes, my king.
He asked the messengers to read to him from the book of good deeds.
Read to me from the book of good deeds.
The first messenger read, "A man named Mordecai saved your life."
A man named Mordecai saved your life.
The king asked, "What was Mordecai's reward?"
What was Mordecai's reward? He wasn't rewarded. What?
The king didn't think that was right. The messengers went back to their spot, and the king couldn't think of a good reward, so he called for his advisor, Haman.
Advisor! Yes, my king.
The king asked, what would be a prize for a special man?
What will be a prize for a special man?
Haman was so excited and jumped around saying, "I bet it's for me."
I bet it's for me!
So he thought up a great reward. He told the king to dress the man in his best clothes.
Dress the man in his best clothes and have him wear your best clothes and have someone call out, "This is a great man."
The king thought about it and said, "That's a great idea."
That's a great idea!
Haman was so excited he jumped around again.
Yay!
Until the king said, "Do these things for Mordecai."
Do these things for Mordecai! What?
Haman still had to listen to what the king told him. He stomped over to the village. Mordecai put on the king's best robe. And Haman led Mordecai through the villages on the king's best horse, yelling out,
This is a great man! This is a great man! This is a great man! This is a great man!
Finally, at the end of the day, he took Mordecai back to his home in the village and stomped back to the castle. Luckily for Haman, there wasn't that much time to be angry because that night was the party at the queen's chambers. The king and Haman rushed over to go to the party. They started eating all of the delicious food the queen had prepared. Of course, the king loved parties so much it put him in such a good mood to eat all that yummy food. He reminded Esther, "I'll do anything for you."
I'll do anything for you!
Esther asked, "What would you do to someone who wants to kill me?"
What would you do to someone who wants to kill me? I'll kill him!
And then he asked, "Who is it?"
Who is it?
Esther stood up and she pointed her finger at Haman.
This man wants to kill all the Jewish people.
And then she finally told the king the truth.
And I'm Jewish.
The king was surprised, looked at Esther, looked at Haman, and called for his guards.
Guards! Yes, my king. Go arrest
Haman.
Haman and banish him from
guards took Haman and led him away from the kingdom forever. The guards went back to their part of the castle, and now the king needed to pick a new advisor. This time he said, I pick Mordecai.
I pick Mordecai.
With Mordecai and Esther's help, the king became a better king. He started to learn to take care of his people and worry a little less about the parties. Mordecai and Esther also made a new law that the Jewish people in the kingdom would celebrate the holiday of Purim to remember those lots, the numbers that Haman had picked to kill all of the Jewish people, but instead how they were saved. One of the ways that we celebrate this holiday is to sing fun songs together. So I'm going to ask the kindergartners to move to their spots after they take off whatever they want to take off. If you need to take anything off, get comfy.